You got people.
Okay. Hello, people. Hello, hello. How are you doing today? I hope all is finding you well. Get this thing off my head because it is a little irritating me. All right. So, what I want to talk about today is uh, bad information. Let's talk about bad information being distributed to people. So, when I talk about bad information, I want um, you to know that I am not here to um, argue with these people who are putting out the bad information. I am here to stop you from being led astray by the bad information. So let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to start this at the very beginning. And let's go. We're going to listen for a bit and we're going to hear what he says. And I am going to interrupt him several times over. Okay? Let's go.
Hey, peace and love, family. Um, Going in today on authentication again. I want to go real broad so then we can focus in because there's still a lot of people out there that really don't understand what's going on and get it. Um, you got people out here teaching things that are, you could say, an opinion they have based on the knowledge they have, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I would say they needed to study much more into this topic. Um, when it comes to authentication, the purpose of Moore's authenticating their birth certificate, or any document, is for travel. But let's go first into authentication, actually what it is lawfully. And as y'all can see, it's the Department of State is where you find the actual authentication. So let me see. I got it right here. And this is from Black's Law Second Edition. This is the online one, but I want to break down the definition. In the law of evidence, this is asking what is authentication. The law of evidence. So we're talking about evidence right now. This is what we're referring to. Evidence. We're not using this for nothing else but evidence. Or this only applies to evidence. The act or mode of giving authority or legal authenticity to a statute, record, or other written instrument or certified copy, therefore, so to render it legally admissible in evidence. Okay, that said a lot there because it talks about statutes, records, instruments, all of these things. So I'm gonna narrow it down, take out a few words, and read it like that so we can get it. In the law of evidence, the act or mode of giving authority or legal authenticity to and we're going to jump down to a certified copy because we know the birth certificate is the certified copy. Therefore, so to render it legally admissible in evidence. Okay, so this is to use it as evidence. Now, there are a lot of Moors out there that say the birth certificate was created under fraud. Well, if that's so, you would have to rebut it with evidence. I mean, does that make sense, people? Like, there's a maximum of law that says anything that can be proven must be proven. So, let's get into the travel aspect of authentication, and I'll see maybe if I can start to make this a little bit clearer for people. The Department of State Office authentication issues both apostilles and authentication certificates. Okay, so I'm gonna go down. Apostilles and authentication certificates. It has to do with the treaty, this Hague Convention. Apostille certificates or certificate, the seal signature of the officials of public documents such as birth certificates, court records, blah, 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 issued by public authorities so that they can be recognized in foreign countries that are members of the Hague Convention Treaty. So basically, anyone that has signed on to this treaty or the Hague Convention, which is just it was a treaty that they did concerning foreign documents. If you were to say, you want to take your birth certificate, court order, diploma, things of that sort across seas, let's say you got admitted to Oxford, after graduating from West Point or Yale or something out here, wanted to get higher education, you would have to authenticate your diploma to take it over there to be used. But the thing is, and this goes into when people ask, how do I authenticate my birth certificate or any document right? The only thing that will keep you from getting an authentication is putting a country down that is a part of this treaty. They'll give you a apostille. Authentication certificates you get, they're issued by the Department of State for the same purpose as apostilles, but for use in countries that are not members to the 1961 Hague Convention Treaty. So basically, you would have to be putting down on the application a country that is foreign to this Hague Convention or to that treaty. So to get an authenticated document is basically you're getting a document to take outside of their jurisdiction, to travel outside of their jurisdiction. I hope y'all hear me, people, because we're trying to take this record, which we're not saying is authentic, we're using it as evidence of something to take outside of their jurisdiction, so to be legally admissible. This is why people, say claim the birth certificate, be the registered owner, or things of that sort. Once you get past the authentication process, different people, most people, I'll say, disagree. That's when different processes start to come in, and it's just about how you legally make your claim. I'll say that, ours is one of the best out there, but that's here or there. But what I'm trying to drive home right now is that this authentication is not to make the document authentic. We're not trying to be a party to the fraud. We're calling out the fraud, and we're actually attaching documents to it or fixing documents to it for that exact purpose. Now, ours goes into nationality, expatriation, the bonds, claims, all of that stuff. We have a whole counter deed that we do to that instrument so that it's a different type of record. It's an altered record. So there is a rebuttal to the all cap straw, to the the race ethnicity as being black in this document. But the thing is, to make it admissible as evidence, you have to have an authentic copy first. Now, I'm gonna go a little bit further because we also get full faith and credit. Let me see if I can pull this up. I got it on my Instagram. All right. This is on the front of authentication certificate from the federal level. Basically saying that the seals from the states are entitled to full faith and credit. And I've broken this one down previously on the video too, but it's interesting, since I did that video, they actually came along on the same website where I got the source, Investopedia, and there's a few other ones out there too, but that one in particular, I know they changed it. So they don't even want you to really know what full faith and credit is, and it seems like when I put it out there, they switched up. I'm gonna go directly to their website, show you from here, and then I'm gonna go back and show you for my Instagram, a previous one, how they had it, but they changed this part at the bottom. They dropped some stuff down and they took some stuff out. Full faith and credit is a phrase used to describe the unconditional guarantee or commitment by one entity to back the interest and principal of another entity's debt. Now, we know the straw man is an entity, so just keep that in mind. Full faith and credit commitment is typically employed by a government to help a lower borrowing cost of a smaller, less stable government, like a state or a city, a municipality, or a government-sponsored agency. Okay. Now, this first phrase is what a lot of people are looking for when they're trying to discharge, things of that sort, and they don't know how to apply it. I understand that, but just to confirm that it's real, I'm keep going. The full faith and credit refers to the full borrowing power of a government which pledges to fulfill its payment obligations in a timely manner. You know what I'm looking for? I was actually looking for the stuff that's on the other one, because I've been looking back and forth over these documents today. Let's go back just a bit. Now, this is the exact same site, Investopedia.com. And you can see, on the breakdown of full faith and credit, it doesn't start with the government mortgage, Ginnie Mae, or none of that there. Like, that's not even here. That's what I'm saying. Like, they changed some stuff. And I want to say they kind of go into it right here in this paragraph. Debt issued by smaller government entities such as municipalities may also have full faith and credit of the issuer. So the vital statistics, you get full faith and credit, from there through the state of Texas when you send it up, because that's a smaller government than the federal government. And, you just annex it on all the way up. But let me go back to this definition.
Okay, I paused it because before he continues to screw over your mindset, let's go back here where he attempted to not continue reading all of these definitions. Okay. Right here, it tells you, yes, our mission, the Office of Authentications issues both apostilles for governments used in participating Hague countries. Okay, so when you go to which is the same exact site, the Hague countries page. Now, we know this is the same exact site, right? Travelstate.gov or travelstate.gov. Travel.state.gov. Okay, same one. Okay, so now you see this? It says, hey, check your document status. How do you check your document status? Okay, that's that right there. Now we're going to come over here. Now, over here under U.S. Hague Convention Treaty Partners, the alert that they have here is not to check your documents. Child abduction. Okay, so what is happening right now currently in world affairs? Currently in world affairs, the Hague countries have all been accused of child abduction. This is why the military, it is not the United States military. It is the the Grand National Army of the Republic. That's what it's called. The Grand National Army of the Republic. Okay. So they are currently sweeping through the world, going through the tunnel systems, saving children that have been abducted, children that were born in areas that they want to describe as farms, because those are areas that never ever see the light of public day. those people are being imprisoned and executed because they keep a farm stock of people that either breed children or they are the children, and all of them are being abused in the most horrific ways that would allow others to be prosecuted for crimes against humanity. Okay, so that is what the Hague Convention is all about. And it has treaties with those people who are just absolutely down with selling of the children and breeding women to create children to be sold for profit. That profit is because they are allowed to molest, rape, murder, and sacrifice those children in a satanic ritual. Okay, so now that we know what the Hague Convention stands for and what its treaty members are doing, okay, now we're going to go back here because he attempted to tell you a definition for authentication. I have found the same exact definition that he did, and I am going to read it accurately. I'm not going to stop partway between because I want you to get a clear comprehension of what this treaty is, or what this authentication means, what authentication means. In the law of evidence. So outside of all other definitions, this is simply about the law of evidence. The act or mode of giving authority or legal authenticity to a statute, a record, or other written instrument, or a certified copy thereof, so as to render it legally admissible in evidence. Mayfield versus Sears, 133. IND, I would suppose that means Indiana. And maybe that's 86. Oh, nope. I'm not clear on what that means. Let me stop. Mayfield versus Sears, and they've got a number for it, how you can find it in whatever files. They have Hartley versus Farrell, and you can find that in whatever files. Oh, one came from Indiana. Oh, and one came from, I don't know where the other one came from. The one came from Florida. Okay. Then it says, in reference to Fowler, I don't know what the CC stands for, and I would say I don't know what that stands for. That's how you find, it is how you find a court case. That's what that is. Okay, so I don't know what all those are because I don't go and look up court cases. I don't use the cases as reference material because I use the actual law. People need to use the cases as reference material when they haven't read all of the United States Code, and that is because normally people just act on what they have read from textbooks. Textbooks are written purposely to sway the mind in one way or another, but the actual United States Code is how they go about running the country, and is all the rules and regulations for each office and each paperwork that can be done in any office. Okay, so now that we know what the United States Code is, so anyway, I'm going to continue reading. An attestation made by a proper officer by which he certifies that a record is in due form of law and that the person who certifies it is the officer appointed to do so. Okay, now, the reason why it has to be a certain officer in a certain office that has to be appointed is because every so years, government officials, their office members change. Office members change. And You always need a current official and a current office holder to have signed, because when you are going into court, sometimes under certain circumstances, those officers of those offices are called to be witnesses. Okay? So that's what they've done, is they've witnessed that this paper is truly authentic and that it can be used by the person it was issued to. Now, the issuance has a number. This number is good for whatever person goes and orders it. If I was a cop and I was arresting someone and needed to be able to prosecute them, I would simply contact the Vital Statistics Office. I would give them my credentials, my cop badge number, and the office that I work at, which division in that office I work at, and they would say, oh, okay, you're qualified to receive certain documentation. And they would send one of these to that person. Yes, this is the birth certificate. This is the state authentication. This is the federal authentication. And I have even endorsed it properly. Proper endorsement. Wonderful. Okay. So I actually filed a different one in the office. What do you call that? When I authenticated my birth records, but it's still me. Doesn't matter if I actually endorsed it or not, because this goes to a different office. So happy that I did that. Just realized that I did it, but it is properly endorsed because I did this from looking up all of the information here before I'd even started reading the code. Now, I'm pretty sure I'd probably gotten into some references from the code, because these are all references from the code. So I used all of that in order to make it official. But let's go ahead and keep saying where this has gone awry from his explanation. So you have to, I just explained authentication, why it is necessary for you to get an authentication, because anyone can go and get an authentication. Anyone can. All right. So now that you know why you need to be authenticated, we'll further break down. He is trying to tell you now what full faith and credit is. Well, full faith and credit is given to the person only to the person whose name is written on the document, whose birth it represents. Okay? So, now that we know that it can only represent one particular person, only that one particular person can be given full faith and credit. All others that go and get the documents are only able to access a certain part of it. They cannot get full faith and credit. They can only access, I believe it is as much as 25%. Outside of 25%, they have no legal access to. I think that you can dumbly, when we're endorsing things and we don't know all of the rules for endorsement or business or banking, when we are writing our name out in capital or in when we're applying it to any document, the person receiving the document, you have given that person permission to represent you. So all of those people, all of those representatives that you have all across the country, outside of the country, wherever it is that you have gone, done business, and written your name, whether it be a signature or a writing, a print, no matter what it is that you've done, you've given them your name. And since it is in your hand, all that person has done is gone and said, hey, look, this person is contracting business with me. So I am able to receive 10% of whatever it is they got going on. All right. So now that happens with your employers. That happens with banks. That happens with your landlords. It happens with, your landlords. Generally, if you're renting from a private person, they don't know how in the hell to enact everything. So generally, I'm having a problem right now. They don't find out anything, and then they just staunchly stand there and refuse to move forward when there is law. And normally they go and they get legal advice from someone who is inside of the system and under oath to never really reveal all of the particulars. They call that, what do they call that? They call that, trade secrets. Trade secrets. So people under oath cannot reveal trade secrets. Okay. So that it would be your doctors, your lawyers, your police officers, your county sheriffs, your pretty much anybody that's, taking an oath. Your military members aren't supposed to tell you. That's why when you call your kids and you say, hey, what's going on there with that military stuff? And they tell you some crazy shit. Well, if I told you, I got to shoot you. That's because they're under oath. My kid tells me that shit too. So if you've heard it from your kid, don't feel like you got to keep pressuring them or whatever. Just respect the fact that they have committed themselves to some shit that is fucked. All right. So let me go ahead and keep going. Now, what else did he do? We did the authentication office, the authentication definition. Oh, okay. So what he's not telling you is everything that I am saying to you, that he is saying to you, you can read for yourself from, the Uniform Commercial Code is inside of the United States Code. I almost want to tell you that it is Title 26, but I could be erroneously remembering that. So I'm not going to tell you that it's Title 26. I'm going to tell you to open up the United States Code just as you saw me, and or either just put in Uniform Commercial Code just as you saw me put it in. And you go ahead and you, with your own mind, go ahead and start reading this information for yourself and figuring out exactly what it means. So I'm going to go ahead and keep putting his bad information given self right on blast. We're going to go ahead and we're going to keep listening. I just wanted to stop there because he's giving you bad information and we needed to define literally what his bad information is.
Okay. We already read the unconditional guarantee or commitment to back the interest and principal of another entity's debt. Okay, now, the full faith and credit of the U.S. government essentially confers a risk-free status to securities such as U.S. Treasuries. A risk-free status to these bonds, these documents, is what they're doing. Part of full faith and credit. You know, so when people say, you know, you don't have the ability to discharge and things like that, y'all change something up. Oh, actually, here's the enemy right here. See, they dropped that down, what, 3-4 paragraphs, even talking about it. Also has sponsored by Full Faith and Credit.
I really love that he just kind of showed you a little bit there. Let me pull it back a little bit and play it just. I'm going to turn the sound off right now because I just want there to be that so I can talk over it. So as he shows you, I'm going to try to pause it really fast because, oh, I didn't move it back far enough. Oh, there it is. Okay. You see where it says American Banknote Company? Okay, so American Banknote Company is, and this looks like Louisiana. So he is born in Louisiana. Okay, so American Banknote Company issues, and maybe they have a different company now. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they probably don't. Most of these things that got started, they change their officers, but they do not change the companies unless they get in trouble some way. And then they basically change the name, maybe remove some officers because that officer has been sued, or even change the name of the officer and allow the officer to stay in place, because names are really, really just monikers. It's just a calling of something. And you can register any name in the United States Corporation, different systems, however it is, how many different times you choose. You can register a name to yourself 10 times, 20 times over. This is why they have name changes. Just go and get a name change. Okay. So anyway, now that he has showed you that, let me go ahead and allow it to keep playing so I can go ahead and further explain. Now he's also showing you this page. I'm glad he's doing that. It says Build America Bonds. Build America Bonds. Okay, so we have these numbers that represent us. They are called identifying numbers. I invite you to look into the EECFR. In their search engine box, I want you to put in identifying numbers and read everything that they write or that pops up. Everything that is little reference under there that they pop up. Okay. Read all of that so you can have a clear comprehension of what identifying numbers are and how each number is necessary for a different scenario of your classification. All right. So now, I was letting this play. No, I'm not going to let that play anymore. America. America means, its literal definition, I found it in the United States Code. I was reading, I believe it's somewhere in 26 or the Title 26 or the Title 27. I can't remember which. And it literally is defined as being harshly, unmercifully judged by the court system. Unmercifully judged by the court system. That is what America means. So when they say Build America Bonds, okay. These bonds are issued to every individual because every individual is expected to, in some way, take part in the building of their takeover. Now, you have to read the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952 to fully comprehend what I mean when I say their takeover, because that document states that they are a world totalitarian takeover of any nation that they go into, and they are pretending to abide by the nation's laws, but they slowly will change the laws to suit their needs and take over and repress the people and suppress the people. And the way they do that is by stealing the wealth. Well, you can only steal the wealth if you have been given permission to do so. This is why they created so many different things that first people just wanted to be a part of because they believed there was a benefit in being a part of that. And then they came about with these codes that basically said, we're going to pretend that this is the actual law, and people have to abide by the code because they are They have never been instructed to read the United States Code, which is our book of laws, which is our book of rules and ordinances. And they have never realized that there is an actual law that is universal law that is meant to be followed. Now, they are not telling you that there is a universal law meant to be followed because you can't take over if you tell people the rules. You can't take over if you tell people that they have options. So, let's get back to, oh, yeah. Let me go ahead and finish this. What he is getting ready to call Guinea May. This is Jenny May. Very much like Sally May. Which Sally May allows you to get these credits to either go to school or buy a house. Okay, so Jenny May basically is the same thing. You're either you're normally just buying houses. I think maybe it goes into business backed securities or something, so you get loans for your business and whatnot. But what happens is they said these are mortgage-backed securities. Okay, well, they call them mortgage-backed securities because each individual body is considered to be land. The reason why it's considered to be land is because your soul moves in and out of the body freely, moves in and out of the body. If you are knowing how to astral project or meditate properly, then you have already come across this. So if you haven't, that's not an explanation today. Okay, so anyway, we're land. Your soul lives in your land. These bonds or deeds signify that you have a stake in this company that is attempting to overtake you and pretending that it is your governor, as opposed to your mind is your governor, because your soul gives it life, it gives it purpose, it gives your body functionality. Your soul is really your governor. Now, how have you strengthened your soul? Do you spend time with it so you just are just there with just only you meditating, where you're going to get information from the mother? Literally, it is the mother that is in the recesses of your mind when you are meditating. Okay, that's why you meditate, so you can connect to the mother, so you can get all the information that you never got out in the real world. It's not even the real world, it's the Matrix, because they just built all this crap around you. Anyway, so let's get back to this. So you can look up any of this information, and I highly recommend anybody that is in this process, I recommend that you start reading the Uniform Commercial Code. I tell people to read the United States Code because it tells you all of the tiny little definitions to all of these words that they use, all of that phraseology that they use, all the terminology that they use. And when you realize that the United States government officials speak in code, so even when you're listening to the media, they were sanctioned by the United States Corporation. They're only allowed to say what the United States Corporation will not fine them for or jail them for, because they too are under oath. This is why we don't trust professional people, because professional people are under oath. So they are all gatekeepers. They stand there and say, no. These are trade secrets. It cannot get out. Don't let that information out. These are trade secrets. So, anyway, I am not under oath. It's probably why there are very few people that will be as blunt and as honest as I am. I am not under oath. I am in my sovereign capacity. I realize that I have taken steps and done things and put myself into a position where I didn't even comprehend that I was in the position, because I was just reading the code, and as I'm reading through the code and it says do this thing, do this thing, do this thing, I was doing that thing, not realizing that, hey, doing your steps out of order and all this other stuff, you're not getting anywhere. So anyway, when I already had the authenticated certificates, I had not utilized them. I just had them sitting here, just like now. Then I put one on the record a couple of months ago. Well, my time is not up. I can still go and apply things and make sure that I am being accounted for. That time for me has not expired, thank goodness, because I really didn't comprehend what I was doing. That's really a sad, sad tragedy. But thank goodness I was doing it. And now I am comprehending completely what I'm doing, and I love it. So anyway, I'm comprehending that this person is leading you astray. Let's get back to this estrangement, and let's figure out how to not be fooled by it, okay? Oh, I just lost my sound. How is that possible?